will change. So 6:20 today. Salat al-Asr will be at 5:45 and Salat al-Isha will be at 9:15. Salat al-Isha will be at 9:15. Don't miss it. We'll be on the app, on the website, and all of that.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله ثم أما بعد من آمن بقوله سبحانه وتعالى وأن ليس للإنسان إلا ما سعى وأن سعيه سوف يرى ثم يجزاه الجزاء الأوفى عمل بقول عباد الرحمن ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. Anyone who believes in what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah An-Najm, وَأَن لَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى, the human being, the believers, anyone that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created to worship Him, he will not get but what he works for. You don't inherit hasanat, you don't get anything from anyone but what you work for, but what you earn. If you believe in that, then you do with the highest action of the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Furqan, رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا وَالَّذِينَ يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّاتِنَا قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ وَاجْعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. يقول علماء التفسير من علو همتهم أنهم لم يكتفوا بعملهم بل سألوا الله سبحانه وتعالى بأعمال ذرياتهم وأعمال أزواجهم. Because their aspiration is so high, they're not sufficed with their own actions, even though يبيتون لربهم سجدا وقياما هب لنا من يقولون ربنا اصرف عنا عذاب جهنم. They ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they do qiyam, they pray at night, they give the charity, all of these qualities, and they're staying away from all the haram, and they are just perfectly doing things good. Yet they also ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for their children and offsprings to get work from them. How do they get the work from them? This is where the Prophet ﷺ told us in two hadith that I will refer to. One of them you all know, and the second one you probably know. يقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فيما رواه أبو هريرة رضي الله عنه إن مما يلحق المؤمن من عمله وحسناته علما علمه ونشره. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu reported that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, amongst the things that follows the believer, meaning he gets the reward of it, from his action, from his good deeds, علما علمه ونشره, knowledge that he taught and spread. يعني brother Jazahullahu Khair Hussein, when he puts this camera here, everything I do and I say, and everything you learn and everything you act upon, he get the same hasanat for just tightening that thing over here and putting it here. This is the beauty of the religion. This is the beauty of da'wah. This is the beauty of caring that you want to get more from other people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows how many people would see and how many people would act and how many people would teach what they learn, and how long it's going to stay for people to see and to read until the day of judgment. You're getting the same hasanat from this. علما علمه ونشره. النشر كان في زمان كتابة، هل كتابة وصوتا وصورة وما شاء الله. Before, when people want to spread their knowledge, they write they talk to the group there and they write it in a book. Now you write it in a book and you do it worldwide, and your voice, you record it, and you record it with picture. So all of those things, you get the hasanat for just one time you acted. One time, 10, 15 minutes khatira, or you talk with a person, and then you reap the fruit of it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows how many and how long. علما علمه ونشره ولدا صالحا تركه. Righteous son he left behind. Righteous son, not the righteous son became righteous because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, alhamdulillah, guided him, and the father and the mother has nothing to do with it. That's not what we're talking about. You have to educate and teach your children. Don't expect to get their good deeds because mashallah they're guided and you have nothing to do with it or very little to do with it. Because the way it works, you show someone something good, you get the hasanat equal to what that person does. And your son, salih, waladan salihan yad'u lah. How did he become salih? It's you who made him salih with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You educated him at young age. You put him in the right environment. You were supervising. You were watching. You were teaching at least to age 15. This is an obligation. Yani if this brother here, his son became righteous and he has nothing to do with it, he will be accounted until age 15 or until he became an adult for the shortcomings that he did, even though his son became very righteous, because he neglected the responsibility that he was supposed to take care of his son or his daughter. And that taking care of that starts at age 7. Age 7, and you can start earlier, but this is the time that you teach for salah, for tahara and such, and it goes on. So from 7 to 15, you're talking about 8 years. 8 years of teaching and showing. It's not like go pray and you have nothing to do with it. It's not like, oh, hijab and mom is not wearing, mom is not doing. And so what the children see and what they hear is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to teach them. So pay attention to that your children are the best and the most biggest investment that you have. And it's not just an investment, it's a responsibility that you will be questioned about. Many of us neglect their children, and their children become righteous. You put them in the wrong environment and you're not caring for them at all. Subhanallah, mashallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, muwaffiqhum, they're guided. You did not do a good job. This is not your job. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's job. He might have someone talked to him, or another father or mother. Yeah, it's okay. Another father or mother did that, and subhanallah, you got that goodness of your son. So pay attention. Past knowledge, righteous son, mushafan warratha. Mushafan warratha, these masahif, somebody bought it. This is like, you give it to the masjid, you buy mushaf, you give it to the masjid. I'm sure you do that. A lot of you did that when they went to Umrah or to Hajj. You buy a mushaf and you put it there. Why you do that? Because of this, mushaf and warratha. Anytime a person reads in that mushaf, the hasanat that they get for every letter and for every reflection, you get the same thing because you are the one who provided that mushaf for them. So this is, this something tells you that how easy to get hasanat with simple things and get a lot of hasanat, more than you can actually work or do in your life. مصحفا ورثه أو مسجدا بناه أو مسجدا بناه أو بيتا لابن السبيل بناه أو نهرا أجراه أو صدقة تصدق بها من ماله في صحته وحياته يلحقه كل ذلك بعد موته. مسجد بناه Are we building a masjid, brother? Well, pay attention to this. Masjidan banah. It doesn't mean masjid that you have to come up with 2 million or 3 million and build a masjid. Any participation in the masjid, in paying for the masjid, in planning for the masjid, in working for the masjid. So when you do a fundraising, for instance, and you have a team that is taking care of the fundraising and providing and walking and helping and all of that is part of building the masjid, and the hasanat, you are getting so much of it. It's not only money. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't look for only you pay money. If you notice, all of these work, not every one of them involves money. You raise your child, you're going to take care of him anyway. You pass the knowledge. You heard this hadith. How much you're going to pay if you go say it to another person? It's not costing you anything. You just go and say it. So money and action. وَأَنْ لَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى. السعي يكون بعمل الجسم ويكون بالنفقة. When you work and help, it can be by your money and it can be by your physical work. And it's all hasanat, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, هل أدلكم على تجارة تنجيكم من عذاب أليم تؤمنون بالله ورسوله وتجاهدون في سبيل الله بأموالكم وأنفسكم. So jihad is with your money and with yourself. You work and you pay. And the same way here. So you take care of your son, you buy a mushaf, put it in the masjid, put it in tahfidh Quran, give it to someone who is in need. You build a masjid, you participate in everything that builds a masjid. Masjid, you're building a house that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves. Not only loves, it is the most loved spot on earth. You are in it now. This place is the most loved spot in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have homes and you have mansions and you have so many beautiful things. This is the one that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves. Why? فيها رجال. In the masjid, true men, not just men, true men, رجال. لا تلهيهم تجارة ولا بيع عن ذكر الله. When it comes to salah, put business aside. لا تلهيهم تجارة. They're not distracted by commerce or by buying and selling, and establishing prayer and giving from their money to maintain the masjid and to build the masjid and to do all of that service to the masjid. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name is highly mentioned in the masjid, in the prayers, in the dhikr. Everyone comes in the masjid, remembers Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everyone in the masjid talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala generally. So this is the spot. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves it. Type Ibn Sabil, you make a nahar, a small river, and that includes buying a cooler, the way they do back home. You know, you buy a cooler, you put it outside the masjid, or you put it in a place where people can stop and drink, you know, travel. Just like they put the rest areas here, you can have rest areas somewhere and put that water. Why water? It's so important. Water is almost everything. See, if you notice, he sallallahu alaihi wasallam talked about a river. Not necessarily a river, a huge river, canal or something like that has water, where people can water their plants and people can drink from it and make wudu and such.
Bringing water to the masjid.
Jazakallahu khair. The masjid here, every one of us opened that door and pulled a bottle of water, as if someone here manufacturing the water and filling the bottles and everything. Well, one time come and drop $20, take a bottle and drop $20 in there. But make sure you check for that, so don't throw the empty containers in the trash. So the point is, you drink that water. You paid for it. SubhanAllah, you get so much hasanat for doing that. So water in a river, and water in a cooler, and water, that spring water that you bring, or a well, a well that you dig, all of that water in different spots for traveling people, for people who needs to water their plants, and that includes the pipes, the water that they irrigate with. All of that, you spend it, it comes in your righteous deeds. Then the final thing, sadaqah, a charity that you give from your wealth when you are healthy and wealthy. Why healthy and wealthy? Because you don't want to wait until you're about to die and you say, oh, I could have and I should have and I would have. Healthy and wealthy. This is the best charity to give it at that time, even though you have another hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said the best charity to give is when you need or looking forward to becoming rich, but you don't have that much money, yet you give. This is because you're making jihad against yourself. You're making jihad against your desires. You want more money, and you give in that money. Who do you give it to? To someone you love more than the money, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is great. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to give the money when you are healthy and when you have the money. Meaning some people, when they are rich, they just hold back. And other people, when they don't have money, they start giving. This is good, either one, but when you have the money and you give the money, that is easy for you. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't want to make you suffer. Go pay the money that you have and start looking for another job. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows when He's going to compensate you for it. It's not like you give $10 now. When you go to a house, you're going to find it in the mailbox. It doesn't work like that. So when you have the money, you are relaxed. You give the money and you wait, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you with that. So the hadith that you all know, إذا مات ابن آدم أو إذا مات الإنسان انقطع عمله إلا من ثلاث علم ينتفع به ولد صالح يدعو له وإيش كمان؟ صدقة ارفع صوتك صدقة جارية. So if you look at this hadith and you break it down, it will, so the first hadith I mentioned is a breakdown for this hadith. Sadaqah jariyah, it includes the mushaf, it includes the water, it includes building the masjid, and it includes that charity that you pay when you are healthy and wealthy. So all of that, the breakdown, 7 of them, the Prophet ﷺ mentioned. Naturally, there are many other avenues, but the Prophet ﷺ mentioned those because they are the most rewarding, and you want to always do the act that is most rewarding and more hasanat you get in it. So, that's what I said. There are some other referring to planting trees, in particular palm trees. Why palm trees? Because they have so much benefit. Even the pit that we throw in the trash, this is wonderful food for animals. And I personally watch the horse crunching it like you crunch peanuts. SubhanAllah, you just give it to him and crunching it just like peanuts. And then this one, it's unbelievable. You think a machine you need to. And so animals, and a lot of people, they crush it and give it to animals. And some animals eat it as is. So there's nothing in palm tree that is not benefited from. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ compared the believer with a palm tree. You're a palm tree. What does that mean? Goodness of the believer is always fruit. A believer always fruit. Anywhere you put him, he's doing something good, saying something good, enjoining something good, forbidding evil, all of that. So anywhere you go, the believer, just like dates, anywhere you put it, people benefit from it. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us work for any of those. And I always, like before I said, I forgot my phone. And every one of you have a phone. How hard is it for you to take that phone and video the khatira and you give it to me? It's not hard at all, but why don't you think of it? Because your mind is not set for the hereafter. It's as simple as that. Yani Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us opportunities these days where everything you can do, everything you can never say, I don't know, I don't have knowledge, I don't have money. You have so many avenues that you can get the same hasanat just like the rich person and just like the knowledgeable person. You just need to think, what's your goal, and work toward that goal in every possible way you can. جزاكم الله خيرا. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
جزاك الله خير.